Good morning, my Teaser King family. I hope everybody is healthy and wise and getting ready for Christmas. I certainly am. I am traveling to Europe next week, so I will enjoy. Anyway, let's talk football. As you see, $100 special, get you all the college bowl games. I'm doing a $200 special I did for a customer today for the rest of the year. So if you want all the bowls and all the pro picks, all the college bowls through the playoffs, they include, of course, the locks, all the pro picks, of course, including the locks through the Super Bowl, $200. So it's $100 if you just want the bowls, or if you just want to play the pro picks weekly or monthly, whatever you want to do. So again, that's out there, $200. You can have the rest of the year. So I've been pretty hot. I was 13-0 in my pro picks last week, and then we had San Diego Thursday, and somebody has to clue me in. I don't know what's happening. Why do they keep going for it on fourth down? And they keep not getting it, and then they keep doing it. If they would have just kicked field goals, they would have won the game in regulation instead of losing in overtime, but they're too stupid to do that. Especially if you have like 2nd and 2, which goes to 3rd and 2, which goes to 4th and maybe 1. Why do you think you're going to do it? Then they run these stupid passes that have zero chance of completion. If you want to go for it on 4th and 1 or 2, you must run the ball. You must run it. These little wide receiver screens, it's all offensive pass interference anyway. Realize when you're down deep, kick the field goal, get the points. You get momentum. When they stop you, they get excited, you get down. So that's the part you're not understanding as a coach. And I question that there's any good coaches but Belichick, Coach Pete, and Sean Payton out there that know what the hell they're doing. They're all like this guy from San Francisco, and the guy from LA, where it's just, we're going to keep going. We're offensive minded. And then how many games do they win? I mean, they're not good coaches. They're good offensive coordinators, but they're not good head coaches. They don't have what it takes. They don't understand momentum, field position. They're not understanding what it takes to win. They don't understand momentum, field position, the whole thing. Well, if we get the first down, yeah, but you're asking getting the first down against a decent defense, not even a good defense. It's probably maybe 10%, maybe 15 on these 4th and 1s, especially in your own zone. They're really jacked up to stop you. You're not gonna get it. So they just don't understand anything. So anyway, somehow we still won with San Diego as a home dog. Again, these division games, they're not afraid of KC. They play them twice a year. They beat them at KC. They should have beat them at home. I apologize. I'm extremely hungry. I'm on a 3-day fast to clean my body out, and today's day 2. So I didn't eat yesterday, and I'm not going to eat today. I can't have coffee, tea, just no sugar or sweetener in it. So this is coffee with half and half, and I think I put something else in it. Just coffee with half and half. I put the coffee in. That's what I'm thinking. So I'll eat tomorrow night, and what it does is it cleans your system out. We got a miner inside, and he's cleaning. So if we leave him alone and let him clean, think of a housekeeper and you keep bothering her, and you're eating as she's trying to clean up, and she can't clean up. So I'm leaving the guy alone to clean me up. I'm not really doing it to lose weight. I've lost 70 pounds, so I'm excited about that, but it's really just for health. So this Christmas season, go eat, but then maybe the beginning of January, do a 3-day fast like I'm doing, and it'll clean your body up. Plus you get used to all the sweets and the chips, and that stays in and keeps you hungry. So you got to get rid of all that crap. Anyway, enough of Dr. Robbins. Now we'll go back to Professor Robbins. So bowl games. We have 2 things going on. We've got players sitting out for COVID. We've got players sitting out, which this one kills me, to get ready for the NFL draft. What the hell does that mean, getting ready for the NFL draft? I don't understand it. Go play your game. That gets you ready for the NFL draft. McCall yesterday for Coastal Carolina. How did that hurt him for his draft status? He's one of the best quarterbacks. Now, I don't know if he's coming out this year. I don't know if he's a junior or a senior or if he's going to stay one more year. That guy's great. That guy's a first-round pick, and he did great in the game. I mean, if anything, you go, I'm gonna draft that guy. Hi, Derek. Casey still have to stop them. If he makes it and wins, great coach. If he doesn't, he's yeah, Derek. Of course, if it comes through, but he went for it on fourth down, San Diego, 4 times and didn't make one. There's a time that you can maybe get away with it once, but especially if you're in field goal range, you've got to kick the field goal, because let's look at it as risk and reward, right? So risk and reward, what do I gain if I'm on the opponent's 20-yard line and it's 4th and 1 and I get it? I got 1st and 10 at the 19. I haven't scored. If I kick the field goal, I've gained the 3 points. So I'm risking 3 points, risking a turnover. Yes, I have time of possession, but that's not really that important in the pros. It's really, it's important earlier in the game. You're trying to tire out the defense, but so, yeah, I mean, I understand, but it's just, I'm saying 4th down conversions don't work very often. And you really need a power back. If you had Henry, I would say, yeah, I'd go for it more on 4th down with a guy like that, but I'd give him the ball. I wouldn't play action and everything. And I wouldn't run up the middle where there's 8 big guys. I'm running into a wall wondering why I can't gain a yard. You're going to have imagination, run off tackle, because you're on an angle. The guys are coming up. As long as the guy doesn't backdoor you and come around the back, so you're running, and then this guy's off to the side, tackles you. So as long as you take care of him, if you run off tackle with that angle, you're going to cut back or go out. There's more angles that you're going to get the yard. So, yes, with Derrick Henry, absolutely, I'd go for it more. But these guys are throwing the ball, which is insane. And, it's just really stupid football. And again, I grew up with the Steelers and Joe Montana and Bradshaw and those guys. So you would play defense and you would win the game. That's how you won the game. Now it's like the NBA. Everybody wants to take a 3-point shot. How many teams win? Very few. You still need the inside game. Here, you need to be able to run the ball to rest your defense and get these 4th and shorts. Well, actually, just get the 3rd and short with the big fullback. Anyway, college bowls. So we've got to watch. So Michigan State, I was going to lock Pittsburgh against Michigan State. Michigan State was a 3-point favorite, and I'm assuming that's before everybody knew. I had Pitt as a 7-point favorite when I looked at the game, assuming everybody was playing. The line comes out, Michigan State lane 2. I go, okay, I'm going to take Pitt. I like Lockett. I like their defense. Michigan State, they're not going to blow them out. Should be a close game. Michigan State's running back sits out, and Pickett sits out for Pittsburgh. What the hell is Pickett sitting out for? You want to get ready for the draft. You ain't all it, Pickett. There's a guy at Miami, Van Dyke, who's a lot better than you are, and he's playing, so he better be playing. So you're not all that. You need a bowl game. You need a big win against Michigan State. That way people keep you in your mind. So very disappointed there. Now the question is, I got to dig up who their backup is, how good he is. Michigan State, I know without their running back, they got decent running backs, but that guy, if you watch the Michigan game, he had 4 touchdowns, was unbelievable. So a lot of handicapping is you're looking at past games, but this year you might look at Michigan State the last 5 years and stuff like that, or Michigan, Ohio State. But basically, like in this game, you're looking at how did Michigan State do against Michigan? How did Michigan do against Michigan State and Ohio State when you're preparing for your picks coming up? So the fact Michigan beat Ohio State gave me the lock on Michigan over Iowa, and they handled that very nicely. However, Georgia's a different animal. And I'm not going to get there yet, but I'm just preparing that this is how we handicap. This is what we're doing. This is master's class. So that's what you look. That's why you use the older games, but you got to be careful with injuries. Stats can be very misleading because of injuries. So here, Houston has. Look at Miami, right? Before Van Dyke, they got King, and they sucked, and they didn't score a lot of points, and they lost the games. Van Dyke comes in, all of a sudden he's Dan Marino. He's throwing 4 or 5 touchdowns a game, putting up 40 points a game. The Bucks in Vegas still have them at 50 when they should be 65s. I've been locking Miami over every week, Georgia under every week. They haven't caught on, and that's what happens, right? So you can't use the stats of the other player, especially the quarterback. So you got to be very careful when you're talking stats, which stats you use. And when you get a guy like Van Dyke at Miami, you've got to use his stat. You got to ignore the 4 or 5 games and look at the Van Dyke stats. And then you just go, there's Yahoo Sports, you click on quarterbacks, you see Van Dyke, 20 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, whatever he's at. And you go, that's okay. I got Van Dyke. He looks good. That's how I come up with a lot of my college is I look at the backup quarterbacks or even the quarterback I never heard of, or how is the Ohio State quarterback this year. That Ohio State and Alabama quarterbacks doesn't mean anything because it's the system. You could put me out there and I'm going to throw 40 touchdowns and 2 interceptions because of the systems that Alabama and Ohio State run. It makes all the quarterbacks look better than they are. Anyway, so with that said, let's look at today. We got, I'll go through this week. App State 3 over Western Kentucky. App State's an A team. Western Kentucky's an over team. Great quarterback in Zapke. They go get 50 points a game. App State's laying 3 over under 66, but App State's got a good defense. So Western Kentucky will score, but it's not going to be they're going to try to run to keep the ball out of his hands is what they're going to try to do. And Western Kentucky, I think, can stay close with their offense that they have, as provided that App State, doesn't get there was a game I took against App State. No, that was Louisiana Monroe. Forget it. You got to make sure the quarterback's protected, has time to throw. App State will put pressure on them. They got a very good defense. They always do. They always win the Sun Belt, them or Lou Lafayette. Lou Lafayette beat them this year. So I like Western Kentucky. I think they'll keep the game close. I don't like the 66. I think that's too high of a number for App State. But with Western Kentucky, App State will score points. That should be a pretty high scoring. The game should be close to in the 60s anyway. But I don't want to. I think it's too high with when I get a team like an App State with a good defense. I don't like to go over when it's in the 60s like this. But I don't want to go under against Western Kentucky. So here's rule number 1. When you're trying to make a bet, what do? Is you try to put better confidence games together, and that's why you make locks or bigger games, and that's why you make smaller bets. So Western Kentucky I like, but I'm not going to lock it, right? I don't love it, but I think this game should be close. I'm a little bit afraid of App State. They're an A team. I know they're a good team. Western Kentucky can certainly score on them, and I think it'll be a close game. But I don't want to. I'm not going to play it very, very high, right? So that's what you look for. So what I look for first are games with great confidence. Like if everybody was healthy in Pitt, Michigan State, Pitt would have been a lock because they're a very good A team, and Michigan State is an over team. They're not an A team, and Pitt has better defense, good quarterback. There's no way that I had the right dog. That's why it would have been a lock, because I had a really good team as a dog against a Michigan State team that is watching Ohio State score another touchdown on them. So with that said, that's what you're looking for. So, okay, I like Western Kentucky. I'm a little afraid of App State. They don't really have that great of a defense, Western Kentucky. But I'll play them because I think with their quarterback and their offense, they're going to score and stay in. They're not going to get blown out. I got 9 points. I like that. Next game is UTEP Fresno State. Fresno State laying 11.5, over under of only 51. So I looked at this game both ways. UTEP's an even team. So they'll score 24-25. They give up 24-25. I looked at their games. They played New Mexico. They played Rice. They played like nobody, right? And they played one North Texas and got hammered. And then they played UTSA, and UTSA killed them. Fresno State beat Nevada. I think they lost to Boise. I think they lost to San Diego State, or maybe they had a couple they beat UCLA. So that's the game I'm going to talk about. Love their quarterback, Hayner. Very good. Better than Carson Strong. He's not sitting out. At least I'm not aware that he's not sitting out. And I think that the way this game shapes up, I think I like the over 51 down to 45 because I think Fresno State might get there by themselves. I think Fresno State, I'm picking a score of like maybe 40-24. I think UTEP can score and has a defense that'll hold them a little, but Fresno State with their quarterback, they got good running back in Rivers. They have a good offensive mind. They like scoring. I think they can score. The 11.5, I could get backdoor. They could win by 4. They could have a 10-point lead, win by 3, or win by 4, and it wouldn't surprise me. UTEP, they're not that great. UTSA showed them who's boss. Fresno State's similar to UTSA with a good quarterback, good running back combination. I think Fresno scores a lot, and I think because it's only a 51, I think it's a joke. I like the game over 45 all day. I think Fresno State might cover the 11.5 also, but I'm more comfortable with the 45 because I think Fresno State could get 45 by themselves. Very good team. UTEP's one of these bowl teams you don't know what to expect. They'll come out with 5 wide receivers or something. Who knows? But I know the game will get over because I know Fresno State is going to score. UAB, BYU, both B teams, over under 54. BYU, I have this game as 14-point favorite for BYU. They're only laying 6.5. I don't understand. UAB's okay. BYU beat freaking Utah and Arizona State and played a lot of good teams, very close. I think their only real loss was to Boise State. Yeah, I mean, I like BYU here even. I think that's a very good play. I think BYU is just better than UAB. I mean, I just don't see that UAB's in Utah's class. Well, when they beat Utah, the quarterback wasn't playing. But they're not in Arizona State's class. And BYU won those games. It's a bowl game. Again, now here's where we run into difficulties in the bowls. Is anybody sitting out for BYU? And this is a very tricky thing. Like SMU, they have 2 receivers sitting out. Who the fuck sits out for SMU, 2 receivers? What are they, crazy? That's going to help their draft stock? How? So, I mean, you got to be careful with that. But I think BYU, as far as I know, I looked at the injury report. I'm running from injury report to, I even searched the site, which college players are sitting out. Here, I'll read you that. So I went on a list of college football stars skipping bowl games. There's actually a website for that. So I go on it and I look at the list. Hello. Okay, so I look at a list, and here's the list. Oregon, some defensive end I never heard of. Thibodeau, Arkansas, wide receiver. Burks, SMU, 2 wide receivers. Notre Dame, okay, the safety's head is out with the knee anyway, but the running back's out. Michigan State, Walker, Pickett, as we talked, and West Virginia, Letty Brown. And I don't have any clue why he's sitting out. I don't know why Pickett's sitting out. I don't know why the SMU receivers are sitting out, or the Arkansas receiver, or the Oregon defensive end. It really doesn't make any sense to me that these guys are sitting out. So as far as I know, I just refreshed it. That's the list. That's it. So I was going to lock Pitt. I'm off of that. I don't really see a lot of COVID yet, but we might. So this is why I'm being careful with my college. I could throw down 6 locks right now, but what if they get COVIDed? So I got to wait. Or what if they say, I'm going to turn pro? So I'm just going to wait another few days, and I'll probably have it all posted before next weekend. So anyway, BYU lay the half. Liberty, Eastern Michigan. Liberty minus 9.5, over under 57.5. Eastern's an over team. They score a lot of points. Liberty's been having difficulties scoring. I sort of like the over in this game, 57-51. Eastern will score. They don't have a great defense, but they've been putting up 40s except for the last game against Central Michigan. I don't know. It's kind of a rivalry, but I don't know who their rival is. I know Central and Western are rivals, but I don't know who Eastern is. Maybe U of M. So Liberty minus the 9, I wouldn't touch that. Eastern, I don't love Eastern as a dog, but I'd probably play the dog before I played Liberty. But I think over, it's 57. You go over 51. It's a bowl game. They're going to they're going to go for it on 4th down, So I think over 51, I can easily see this game being in the 60s without a problem. Oregon State, 7 over Utah State. As far as I know, all the Oregon State players are playing, and Utah State, they don't have, I like their quarterback. Again, they are Arkansas State. They brought the coach and quarterback from Arkansas State, and they put up a lot of points. And they killed San Diego State, which I was shocked about. San Diego State's got a good defense. They didn't give up a lot to Nevada. They didn't give up a lot to Fresno State, and then Utah State puts up 46. I assume there was a lot of interceptions and kick returns for their score. I don't think Utah State had 7 touchdown drives. It's very unusual. Normally when you see a high score, it's usually 2 or 3 turnovers that happen close to the goal line where they just had quick scores or pick sixes or punt returns. Very rarely you're going to just drive it down the field and do it 10 times, because eventually you'll get up, you'll start running the ball, and you won't get that high of a score. So I've been pondering. I had Oregon State laying 17 as my spread. The spread comes out -7. I'm a little bit in shock. Let's look at the score. What do I think the score is going to be? And the way Utah State, what's getting me is the San Diego State game. So my thought is 41-38 is my score. And that's a 79. Somewhere in the 70s will be the score. Over under of 67, you take it to 61. And I'm sitting, do I want Oregon State -1? Do I want over 61? And I'm putting the pick up on Teaser King, and I'm like changing it, going, do I like Oregon State over? So I ended up going over the 61 because I think Utah State can score a lot. And I said at the end of the day, if they make it close, it's going to be high scoring. Oregon State, I love their quarterback. They got great running backs. They got a great offense. They showed you against Oregon. They came back. They don't have that great of a defense. Again, these are 2 over teams, which means they both score over 30, and they both give up like upper 20. Like they probably give up 29 and 28, but they both score in the mid 30s. So will they score? Absolutely, all day. So right now I don't see any COVID. I don't see any. I'm going to the pros. I gotta take a hot tub to prepare to get into the NFL. I mean, how do you prepare for a draft? It's like preparing for a job interview. You go in and you interview. Like, hi, I'm Howard. This is what I handicap football. Thank you very much. So I like over 61. I think it's this is much stronger than the Western Kentucky App State game, because I think you have 2 good teams that will score a lot without a big defense. I can trust both coaches and both quarterbacks. I think this game will definitely get into the 70s versus Western Kentucky, I'm a little nervous. App State's a good team, good defense, although I love Western Kentucky's quarterback and their offense. So I like Western Kentucky, like let's say on a scale of 1 to 10, I like them about a 7, but I like Oregon State about a 9. I think it's about a 9 that they're going to go over 61. I mean, things can happen, weather, possibly or something, but basically this game is an over game, and especially like the line 67 go over 61, and I see that and I go, that's about what I feel is should happen. Marshall, Lou. Okay, so the professor likes Oregon State minus 61. Go over. Last game of the day is Marshall and Lou Lafayette. And Lou Lafayette beat App State. They're a very good team. They're an A team. Marshall they got them as their numbers are a B team, but they lose to the good teams. They're not that strong. They were much stronger last year. The coaching change screwed them up, just like it screwed up Utah State before when the guy went to Texas Tech, and then he does nothing. These coaches, if they got a good thing going, you're dating the good girl and there's this hot chick who wants to date you, you stay with your girl. You don't go to the hot chick because you don't know how it's going to work out, but everything's great with the girl that you like. And this is what I don't understand. Like at UCF, the Nebraska coach, Crouch, goes, he's undefeated at UCF. He goes to Nebraska and they haven't he hasn't been 500 in 5 years. And the same thing with Gary Wells, who was the coach at Utah State, goes to Texas Tech, fails miserably. He was doing great at Utah. Why are you leaving? And don't tell me it's for money, because money, you can get money from the team you're at. You can say, hey, this is what they want, and they'll give you a little raise to keep you. They don't really want to go out and buy a new coach because they don't know how he's going to work out. So with that said, Lou Lafayette, I have -7 is -4, over under a 55. Lou Lafayette is an A team. I love their quarterback, Levi Lewis. Good running, passing quarterback, but he's a good passer. He's not Lamar Jackson, who can't hit the broadside of a barn. He's actually very accurate. So looking at the game, I like Lou Lafayette. I'm getting 2 points. Anybody who says you can't cross 0, if the spread's good, the spread should be 7 here, and I should be laying 1. So here I'm getting 2. I don't say it. If I like the game, and I think Lou Lafayette wins by 14. So, if I think they're going to win 34-20, how about that? So why shouldn't I take 2 points? Why? Oh, it crosses 0. Who cares? That's not what you do. If you know if you're really a bettor and a gambler, an investor, you're not really gambling, you're investing. If you're really investing, you look at what's there and you go, this is what I like. And that's the point of it. If this is what you like, Lou Lafayette, you think they're going to win, and you only have to lay 4, so you get 2. Who cares if you go cross 0? They're going to win the game by 14 points. What do I care if I'm as long as I don't have to lay 10, I'm happy. So that's my point. Okay, let's go on to a few more games. We'll go to the 20th. What's today? Is the 18th? God, I don't know. Yeah, 18th. So now we go to pros are on Sunday. We go to Monday. Monday, we got Tulsa laying 9 to Old Dominion, over under a 52. Now, here's where Teaser King earns his money. Here's where I'm successful, and here's why I'm successful. Tulsa's an over team, and I have Old Dominion as an over team. So I have both of them ranked, so they both score. And they're playing they're not playing Alabama, Ohio State, Georgia, where they're going to get shut out. They're playing teams similar to them strength-wise. So they should be able to play and play well. So here, do I like Old Dominion in 15? I don't love it. I don't know. Tulsa played Ohio State well, and then they went in the shitter. They played Cincinnati pretty well. And here comes Old Dominion. So I look at it and I go, okay, Old Dominion. But they both can score. Over under is only 52. Now, here's where it's making my vote. because it's 52, and because it's not like if it was 62, I would probably have it as a 4 and I wouldn't play it. But at 52, it's up to like an 8. So because it's the line is giving me 52, I go over 46, I go, hell, 46 is 28-20, and I'm a winner. And believe me, these bowl games with these over teams are going to all get into the 60s. So I think I have a very good bet. And again, so I'm ranking the teams. The 10s are the locks. The 8s are the bigger bets. And the 6s and 7s, I might play, I might not, depending. We'll get into injuries in a minute. We'll get into some of the pros in a minute. So I like the over because I got 2 over teams. Neither of them have a great defense, or they wouldn't be over. So in other words, against like Louisiana Lafayette's an 8 team, so they have a good defense. So I'm not gonna go over and fuck with a good defensive team, right? You don't do it because they're a good defensive team, so you don't play those games over. But when you get 2 over teams, which means they both score a lot and they both give up 28, 29, and I'll mark it weak defense when it's over 30. So I know it's in the upper 20s. So it's pretty close to 30. I think I'm going to get 60, 70 points in the game, and I only got to lay 46. That makes it a good game. So that's why you listen to me. That's why you pay me, and that's why I give service, is because I'm ranking the teams. So I know these are over teams. Therefore, when I see a 52, I know that's a bad line. It should be 60. We're going 46. We're taking advantage of, again, a bad Vegas line. I'm not seeing injuries. I'm not seeing an Old Dominion player sitting out to go in the draft, and I'm not seeing COVID. Now, the best way to see if a player's sitting out or a COVID is watch the line. So what happened? Let's look at the pros. Where are my pros? Let's look at the pros and try to figure out what happened. So we initially have Cleveland a 6-point favorite over Oakland. Then the line goes Oakland a 1-point favorite over Cleveland. Something happened without even looking. Something happened. What happened, I don't know, but I know something happened in this game that the line moves 6 points. See, I have a contact in Vegas, and I tell him the money moves the line. And he says no, and I go, yeah, but in this case, the injury is moving the money. So in other words, everybody would have bet Oakland, so they moved the line, but it's because of the injury or the COVID. So because the line moved, we know there was a problem. Then we check into it. But Indy, New England's 2.5, still 2.5. Nobody, okay, there's no injury. If there was an injury to Taylor or an injury to Wentz, the line would have went to New England -1. If there was an injury to Jones or some of the New England, the line would have moved to 7. The line's telling us what's happening. So we see 2.5, we do our research, injuries, COVID, weather, and then we say, okay, if the line stays 2.5, I know nothing's changed. Then I got this craziness with Philly, Washington. I got this craziness with Seattle, LA, and I got this craziness with Minnesota and the Bears. So I'm going to educate you how to do that, but that's coming up because we're talking bowls. But I want to use the line movement as a way of keeping track of these bowls because there's so many of them. So that's what we're looking at. We'll get back to that. Next is Wyoming, Kent. Wyoming is a good defensive team. They don't score a lot. Kent is an over team with a weak defense. So they're one of these. A lot of the MAC teams are over teams. They'll score in the 30s. They have no defense. They'll give up in the 30s. So you saw Northern Illinois, Coastal Carolina is a perfect example. They go way over. 47-41, Coastal Carolina. Again, Northern Illinois could score, but they don't have a defense. I have them weak defense and Coastal Carolina with a good quarterback. So here comes Wyoming and Kent. Again, Kent's an over team. They score 35. They give up 35. What do you do with Wyoming, who's an under, who doesn't score? They're not going to take advantage of the matchup of having this weak defense. But they have a very strong defense. They're an under, so they score 20 and give up 20. A good defense will stop a good offense 99% of the time. Very rarely. Look at the Super Bowls when the number 1 seed defense, the Niners, the Steelers of the 70s, Ronnie Lott, the Bears, the Lawrence Taylor. When those teams were in the Super Bowl and they had that 1 or 2 defense, they won. I mean, you weren't beating them. Look at the Giants, right? LT against Elway, who won? LT's going to win that 100% of the time because defense can, you put pressure on the quarterback, he shits his pants, the game's all over. With LT, he's gonna win that game 100% of the time. So when I get a defensive team like Wyoming, who they don't have LT on it, unfortunately, against Kent, I got to be careful. I can't really like the over in the game because Wyoming doesn't score and has a good defense. I don't know if I like Kent in 9. They should score, but their defense is so bad. I can see Wyoming running the clock and running the ball. It's almost an under game, but how can you play a Kent team that scores 35 and gives up 35 under? So it's a game that you can't play because you can't. My guess is Wyoming will score in the 20s. Kent will get in the 20s. It's probably Kent as the dog is probably the only way you can play this, but I am not going to play that because of Kent's defense. So now if Kent was playing Old Dominion and the over-under was 59, we'd be going over. So it depends on the type of team you're playing, which gets back to my whole theory on typing the teams. Over an A team, B teams, Z teams. There's a method to the madness, and it's all based on when I'm looking, I want bright matchup, and I talk matchups all the time. That's what it is. Are they going to go up and down the field? Why am I betting Georgia under every freaking week? I'm locking them and I'm winning with them everywhere. I think I went 9 weeks in a row with Georgia under. Why? Because you couldn't score on them, and you weren't. Alabama. That game was fixed. I don't care. But you watched the Michigan game and probably go under. Again, we'll talk about that next week. But I won't be surprised if half Michigan's players sit out so they can get ready for the draft like they always do in the bowl games, and they screw everybody over because everybody bets Michigan, and then none of their players show up, and then they get killed, and you're like, okay, so I'm expecting half the team to sit out and get ready for the draft. So I don't like the matchup. So this is like a 2, right? Scale of 1 to 10, the Oregon State over is like a 9. Well, here this is like a 1. I don't know what to do with it. Maybe Kent 9, but I don't love Kent and Wyoming. You just don't see them enough, so I don't know what to do with them. They got killed by Utah State, that was San Diego State. Wyoming just is not. They're okay team, but they're not great. San Diego State, Utah State. Now here I've got an A team in Utah and UTSA, the Roadrunners from San Antonio against San Diego State, the Brady Hoax. They're a B team. They're pretty good until the Utah State game. They'll play better because they're probably pissed that they let up a lot, but it was probably turnovers and punt returns. I doubt UTSA put up 500 yards or Utah State put up 500 yards on them. I doubt that happened. I can check the box score. Utah State, I had -3. They're the better team here. I have them. The spread comes out -2, over under 49.5. So when I look at the game, I think Utah. I think it's close game. Almost like the dog in the game, but I think it's 21-17. I think this will be low. San Diego State's not going to let them have a lot. San Diego State will not score a lot. UTSA is an A team, so they both have good defenses in this game. So now I go, well, I'd love it if San Diego State was the favorite. They're not. Over under, it's high enough. 49.5 gives me an under of 55.5. Maybe you can get a 56 on it. That's the way I like it. You've got 2. Now I like UTSA, but the thought of the bet is the San Diego State defense. They got a very strong defense. They played Nevada 21-20 or something like that. I don't think Fresno State was a high-scoring game. Both of those teams have explosive offenses. UTSA is a great running back. Sonor McCormick is a running quarterback who can throw. Both of those guys are very good. But against San Diego State, they're going to put up some, but they're not going to be able to do this consistently against this defense. Like I'm saying, 21-17. I almost took UTSA in 4. The proper play here is probably San Diego State in 8, but I don't trust Brady Hoke after watching him at Michigan losing to Tabby Big Ten school. He's not a very good big game coach. I love UTSA, as everybody knows. I've been betting them and winning with them all year. But this is a situation where I'm going to bet them and love them for going under. Again, 55 and a half, 28-27. I'm a winner, and I don't really see that many points by either team. And UTSA has a strong defense, and San Diego State does not have a strong offense. So I wouldn't be surprised if UTSA wins 24-10. That wouldn't surprise me at all. But I don't think you're going to see a lot of points like the Oregon State Utah State game. So knowing the team here, you've got under team San Diego State, 18 UTSA, good defenses. One team might not score in the game, but I'm saying, 21-17, that's not a lot. That's 38. We got 55. So that's the type of game I'm figuring on getting here. So I like UTSA, probably about an 8. My favorite team. Okay, we go to the 22nd. And we got Missouri against my Army. 7 in the game. So my pick, seeing the pick, is Army 41, Missouri 30. I see a 70-point game. Army is not a run the ball 4 times, run the clock, and get 20 points in the game. Not this year. They have been scoring a lot. The Navy game you can't look at because that's a normal. They know each other's offenses, and normally they know what their plays are and they know how to defend it. Missouri will not have a clue. Not only that, Missouri's an over team, so they can score, but they have a very weak defense. Okay, so they'll be okay because they faced Georgia and Florida. I think Georgia shut them out. Florida, so they played good defensive teams. But they're just not that good this year, Missouri, and they don't scare me. The problem here is with Army laying 3.5, I only get 2.5. I don't trust it as much because I think Missouri can score and they're SEC, but I do love Army, so I'm gonna love the Army over. The over/under is 58. I just gave you a 79-point game. Army's only 58. Missouri's defense is weak. They're not going to – Army's going to run up and down the field on them, but Missouri – I'm going to the Army-Western Kentucky game when Western Kentucky put up 30 points on them. Same offense. So here's Missouri going to put up 30 points on them, but Army's going to put up more. Over/under of 58, I think, is way too low. They're thinking Army of the past years, but Army this year has scored, and they are an A team. They're not an under team. Their defense is okay. Missouri should be able to put up, like I said, at least 20 points. Army's good for 40. That's a 60. We're going over 52. Not a problem. Again, that's probably a close to a 8 game. So as you can see, the Army over, the UTSA under, the Oregon State over. So I'm putting these teams up, the 8s, the 9s. I haven't seen a 10 yet, but I do next week. Those are my locks, are the 10s. Normally they come through. Ohio State, I still don't know what happened there. But so there's another 8 in Army, going over 52. If Missouri was favored, I'd lock Army because Army just beat Liberty and they just beat Air Force. They're a great dog. But it's surprising that Army is actually the favorite in this game by 3.5. Again, I have them by 7. Now, again, if I loved Army at 7, I love them at 3.5. But I think the over at 58 down to 52, that's 28-24 is 52. And Army will definitely get over 28 against this defense, and Missouri could easily get into the 20s against Army, if not the 30s. So this is an over game. We'll take you down to Christmas Eve. How's that? So we got a few more. UCF in Florida. Good God, UCF. Oof. Don't like their coach. The quarterback's injured collarbone. Gabriel, the backup, who knows? Florida's falling apart. They've quit. I don't know if they got a new coach yet or not. Doesn't really matter. What's a new coach going to do in a bowl game? So I don't know what to say about this game. Florida, I had -10. Spread's -7. Over under 56.5, roughly. Both teams are theoretically over teams, but again, UCS over with Gabriel. He's injured. He's actually already transferred. I don't understand. It's not even the bowl game. He's already transferred to another school. I don't. Oh my God. And then Florida minus. I think he transferred because the coach got fired. Florida -7. So Florida should win this game, but I don't know that anybody on Florida is going to play. The way these guys sit out for the draft, I mean, see, here's where it's dangerous. Teams like Florida, LSU, the non-playoff teams, the whole team roster doesn't care. We're not in the playoffs. You got to be very careful. I am avoid. This game's a 1 to me. I don't know if somebody said you had to pick it. I would take Florida -1 and pray, but I just don't. I don't know if they're going to play or not. I think the game's in Florida, but they're both Florida schools. I would never take UCF here in 13, so maybe that helps me take Florida -1, but I am not. I don't have any confidence in a Florida team that doesn't want to be there against UCF. It's a stupid game. Miami of Ohio, North Texas. Where the hell did they get this from? I had Miami of Ohio -7. Spreads -354. I see this. Miami of Ohio is the better team. They're a B team. North Texas is an O team. North Texas did beat my UTSA, but I think UTSA pulled their off the field. The quarterback, they took him off in the second quarter because they had already clinched their playoff position, so they didn't need the game. So you can't really say North Texas is an over team. Like, how many people in my class knows that? Only the Teaser King, probably. They score a lot. Their defense it's not a weak defense. Miami of Ohio is a B team, so they have a better defense and they probably score a little bit more. A B team probably scores at least upper 20s, at least 28, 29 to low 30s, and they give up probably 20, 21, 22 points. So they're a pretty solid team. They didn't win the MAC. I can't really trust the North Texas in 9 here. I mean, I don't know. That leaves you over under a 54. North Texas is an over. Neither team has a weak defense. This game, this is like another 1. This in the Florida game, I just sit there and go, sorry, I'm not going to waste my money or time on these 2 games. I guess if I needed to, I'd probably play this game over just because it's a bowl game and they're going to go for it on 4th down every time. Probably won't punt in the game. But being North Texas is an over and Miami of Ohio is a B, I would say over, but I don't like it. And our last game we're going to talk about is Memphis and Hawaii. Memphis is the better team. The game's in Hawaii. Actually, they're both O teams. They're both over teams. They both have weak defenses. Memphis -7, over under a 59. You tell me what you do. So both teams are over. Both teams have weak defenses, and the over under is 59. Yes, that's correct. We're going over. This is a 30-point game, 37-33, which is a 70. All we got to do is lay 53. I would say it's about an 8. Make sure the injuries, make sure the weather in Hawaii isn't 100-mile-an-hour winds. But with that said, this game is a strong over game. Again, you have 2 over teams with 2 weak defenses, and you only have a 59. So, again, Vegas has missed this number by at least a touchdown. Probably should have been in the upper 60s. We only got to lay 53 because we do teasers, and we see the key to the teasers, we know which way to take it. We know, let's go over 53. That's the key, and how you get there is we know they're over teams. Their defenses are weak. And, again, those are general stats, the weak defense, right? Because we can see them. We see they give up a lot of points. But, again, you got to look at the schedule, injuries and things like that. But I'm not aware of injuries. I don't think any Hawaii players getting ready for the draft. and then it's just COVID. So that's where I'm going to stop. I'll do another one on like Thursday night, and I will be traveling Friday. So please email me at www.teaserking.com. It's the website, and go there. And then my email is there. And please email me with any questions. $200 package for the rest of the games in both, $100 bowl package. So the bowl package is the package, $100 for all the bowl picks. There'll be at least 4 or 5 locks unless we get more COVID or more guys sitting out for the NFL, like the Pitt-Michigan State game. Nevada was going to be a lock as the dog. I lose 2 locks to quarterbacks sitting out the fucking, which is why I locked him. You had Strong as a dog. He was going to win. And then Pickett as a dog. He was going to win. So I lose 2 dogs to them getting ready for the draft. 2 quarterbacks that I would never draft because they're basically afraid of getting injured. What a freaking joke that is. But I found other locks in their place. So I got at least 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I got 6 games locked right now, maybe 7 that I've just got to see the injuries and who else goes to the pros. So if everything remains even, we'll have probably at least 4 locks that I have discovered. We'll talk about the playoffs next week. Georgia, Michigan, Alabama, Cincinnati. We'll go from there. Outside of that, let's talk a little bit about pros for a few minutes. Okay, Urban Meyer never wanted to be at Jacksonville, was there for the money. Why he left Ohio State, I'm still unclear. Why he didn't take USC's job if he wanted the job, I'm unclear. He's a good college coach because he can control the players. You can't control the players in the pros. When he kicked the kicker, you might have done that at Ohio State. You might have done that in Florida. You're not doing it here. The union, the attorneys, then he goes to a bar and he's with this young girl, and people have cell phones, and they probably make money by showing it. So, again, what's he doing? Just take the girl back to a hotel. What are you doing, Urban? So how do you play? Okay, how do you play the COVID game? Now, these guys aren't sitting out to get ready for college or sitting out to get ready for the playoffs, which happens later when the idiot coaches sit out Peyton Manning because he's got to get ready. He might get hurt. All I know is anytime somebody sits out to not get hurt, he gets hurt. And the team loses because they're all screwed up mentally. They're all out of it. So first game, Oakland, Cleveland. What the hell's going on here? The spread went from 4 to 6. Well, my spread was Cleveland -4. The spread goes to 6, goes to Oakland -4, goes to Cleveland -1.5. What the fuck's going on here? How do I handicap it? I don't know which team's favored, which team's the dog. It's funny, when Oakland was a 4-point favorite, even though Mayfield and the guys were out, I still like Cleveland in 10. Now it's switched to Cleveland -1.5, which makes no sense. I like Oakland getting 7.5, unless they got COVID guys that I don't know about. So basically, most of the Cleveland teams got COVID. Now, because the games moved to Monday, what does that mean? Are the players going to play? I don't understand the move from Saturday to Monday, and then I don't understand, does that make 10 players play because now they might get tests? Judging by the line movement, that means yes, that some of the players will play. Does that mean Mayfield will play? I don't know. This game cannot be bet until Monday, but here's how we bet it. Doing my professor. Here's how we bet it. Plan A, Mayfield's out. Second quarterback's out. If that's the case, we bet the game under 41.5. See, the line moved from 43.5, where I like the under, to 38, where I didn't like the under, it was too low, to 41.5. It smells like Mayfield's playing because it's 1.5, 41.5. So plan A, Mayfield plays. We take Cleveland. Plan B, he doesn't play. The backup doesn't play. All the Cleveland players still have COVID. We play the game under because where are they going to score? Plan plan C, and that's if Oakland doesn't have any players getting COVID. So if Oakland's healthy and Cleveland's lost 20 players, then we take Oakland as the dog, or we play under 47.5. They'll never score. You can't bring in a new quarterback, okay? And you can't look at your stat. Here's my lesson today. You cannot look at Cleveland stats without Mayfield. You can look at Cleveland stats. They're an under team with Mayfield, right? They score 20, they give up 20. They're an under type of team. They run Chubb a lot. With Mayfield, without him, you can't say, well, the Browns scored 30 points the last 3 games. Yeah, Mayfield's not the quarterback. So when the quarterback's not in, you throw out the stats. So I can't say Cleveland's an under team, but I can say they're not going to score with a backup quarterback. And guess what? They're going to hand the ball to Chubb and throw these stupid little wide receiver screens because the quarterback doesn't know what he's doing, probably doesn't know the playbook. Oakland will also play more careful, knowing they don't want to turn the ball over because they know Mayfield's not there. So what you have is an under game. Unless Mayfield plays, then we take Cleveland in 4.5. If he doesn't play, for my Oakland lovers, take Oakland in 7.5, provided the spread doesn't make sense now. It makes sense that Mayfield's playing, so be careful. You cannot bet this game until Monday when you know what's going on. So if Mayfield is indeed out, just play the game under. That's how we handle COVID. Like I said, Indy, New England, I haven't seen a line change. I assume everybody's healthy. Washington, Philly, we know Washington's got a lot of people. Both their quarterbacks are out. So you have Heineke out. You have the backup out. Both of them are out. Either COVID or injured. Either way, they're both shown as out. Now you got the line going to 8. What's going on? The line went Washington 5 to Washington 9 to Washington 8. Why is the line coming down when Washington doesn't have a quarterback? Jalen Hurts, I could care less if he plays because I like the backup anyway, the Washington State guy. So, again, this is a game where Washington will not be able to move the ball. They don't have a quarterback. They're going to have to run more. Their defense is okay. They've been playing okay defensively, even without Chase Young, who I never thought was all that good anyway. And Philly wants Hurts or the other guy, Gardner Minshew. I caught it. So either way, if it's Minshew against the third stringer from Washington, again, I can't trust Philly -2, even though it's Washington's third stringer, because this is the NFL, and you're going to still bring in a quarterback unless it's Mills on Houston, who's a pretty decent quarterback. Again, this goes to an under game. Over-under, I see at 43 is ridiculous. That's an under game. Where are they going to get the points? You get points with an offense. You get points with a quarterback. This is why I bet against Chicago, and this is why I bet against Jacksonville. They don't have a quarterback. Fields is not an NFL quarterback. Lawrence is not an NFL quarterback. Herbert, I trust. Mac Jones, I trust. Brady, Rodgers, boom. Okay, I'm not betting those games under. Maybe, but not usually. Here, who do I got? Minshew against who? Who's the third stringer on Washington? You got to bet the game under because they're not going to do a whole lot. So, yeah, they're NFL quarterbacks, but I can't trust Philly to win. If Washington wins, this is the NFL. Wouldn't surprise me. Could be turnovers. Take the game under 49. That's how we bet COVID. Buffalo, Carolina. Again, Buffalo has an injured quarterback. Bullshit, he's healthy. He's in a walking boot. You don't wear a walking boot for a sprained ankle. You wear a walking boot for a bone fracture or a high ankle sprain or something. He's injured. He's not going to be running, and he's most of their offense. These stupid running Josh Allen play. Well, you can't run your fucking running backs. What kind of stupid plays? Who is this offensive coach of Buffalo? Guy should be fired. That is not how you use Josh Allen. He's got a good arm. He's got no brains. He can't handle a blitz. So, first of all, he shouldn't even be playing. But if you're going to play the guy, why are you designing runs and then, he's injured? Why, are you a freaking idiot? You don't run your quarterback in the NFL because of the injuries, and you can't replace him. There are no minds in the NFL at this point. It's just ridiculous. Buffalo is 10.5, 11, over under 44.5. I don't see Allen finishing the game. If he does, it's going to be a lot of handing the ball off, Carolina, I think, gets shut out in this game. I think it's Buffalo and a must-win. They're not even in the playoffs now, so it's a must-win for them. They'll get up comfortably. They'll pull Allen. 28-0 Buffalo is my prediction. Miami and the Jets, another COVID game. Again, Miami 9.5. How do you trust Miami to beat anybody? They do own the Jets 7 out of the last 8. Again, this is probably an under game. I can't trust. How can you trust Miami with Tagliabue laying 3 to anybody? I mean, even like I wouldn't lay 3 to Georgia or Alabama with Miami. Green Bay, Baltimore, Lamar Jackson probably won't play. The coach is saying, well, he'll probably play. Yeah, bullshit. He ain't playing. If you got to get carted off the field, it isn't a sprained ankle. You watch guys with sprained ankles play. You don't wheel them off in a cart for a sprained ankle. He's probably Achilles or something major. They're just not going to tell you. He's questionable. They don't want to say how severe it is. I love Aaron Rodgers here. Green Bay is a total trend here, and I don't see Jackson playing well. And really he's only good running. And I don't see how he runs with an ankle. Maybe early in the game, but by the third quarter, when the shot wears off, he's not going to be able to do anything. So, again, Green Bay needs the game for the 1 seed. Baltimore doesn't need it because they are in first place in their division. So their back's not against the wall. They're probably giving up the 1 seed to Kansas City, or Buffalo now is out of it. So maybe New England. So it's New England and Kansas City for the 1 seed. But Baltimore's a game back going backwards. I just don't. They'll be lucky to win their division. So I don't see. They're not backs against the wall. Then Lamar Jackson would be playing. They lose to Green Bay, then you'll see Baltimore turn it up. Houston, Jacksonville. How the hell do I bet this? Urban Meyer's gone. Well, you're running the Ohio State offense, so now you don't have the Ohio State coach. Who knows how to run the Ohio State offense? I don't know. I got to check who's the starter. If Tyrod Taylor's the starter, I like Houston in 11. If he's not the starter and Mills is the starter, this is a 9 under then. So I'm giving you rankings of 0 to 10, 10 being a lock. I'm giving you a 9 here. If it's Mills and Lawrence, you don't have Urban Meyer. There's not going to be point. This game won't get to 20. Where will they score? I mean, Mills, although both teams have weak defenses, so you got to be careful with that. But both offenses are terrible. If Mills, then both quarterbacks are terrible. Where are you going to get the points? So there could be a few turnovers, but this should be a very low-scoring game. Let's see. Who else? Okay, L.A., Seattle. It looks like a lot of L.A. players have COVID or are out, but not the key players. Jared Goff Stafford's playing, and Donald's playing, and Russell Wilson's playing. So as far as I'm concerned, you just made my bet a whole lot easier. So how do I bet with COVID? Depends on who the COVID is. So in the Cleveland game, it's Baker Mayfield. You're hurting my offense. You're hurting my quarterback. They're not going to be points. In this game, you're hurting the defenses with the Rams COVID, but you're not hurting Stafford and Russell Wilson. You got two. Well, Russell Wilson's a superstar. Stafford is not. He's okay. Too many interceptions, and if you blitz him, he cries. So I'm not giving LA the big thing. However, over under a 45, and you go to 39. Rams don't have a defense. They got 10 guys on COVID, so they don't have a defense. Russell Wilson should light them up. Stafford will light them up back because Seattle, they do have a good defense, Seattle. Let's give them that credit. But the Rams, just offense, and Russell Wilson's starting to light them up. So they're really not an under team anymore. They're getting more into a B range, Seattle. They had a few terrible games, but now the last couple of games have been much better. Look for this game to go way over 45 to 39. This should be at least in the 50s, mid 50s, and we got 39. Thank you. New Orleans, Tampa. The coach is out. Sean Payton is out. This is a tough game because New Orleans really plays them well. Tampa needs the game for the 1 seed, but the spread's 11. Oh, it's so high. I don't like the 11. It's bring it down to 9 because New Orleans knows how to beat Tampa. They've beaten them 3 out of 4 with Brady. They know how to play Brady. This disturbs me greatly. So it's not as simple as that. Peyton not being on the will definitely hurt. I assume he'll be in somebody's ear or going over the game plan. I go that it's going to be difficult for New Orleans without their coach. But I don't know how effective the coach is on game day versus playing it. So we'll see. Probably a little bit on Tampa, but that spread knocks it down to, if it's 7 down to 1, it's a 9. At 11 down to 5, it's like a 6 or a 7. It's very hard to get excited about an 11. Over under 45, I can definitely see over of 5, 12:48. Okay. And then the last game, Minnesota, Chicago. I loved Chicago until all the COVID hit them. So they got hit with the COVID. Minnesota needs the game for the playoffs. The Bears are pretty much out of it. Chicago owns the series, 5-1 the last 6. Both teams have weak defenses. So it's a matter of what do you want to do here. Very difficult to say. I think I don't know. I mean, I initially had the game take the Bears and the points, but I'm not betting on Justin Fields. I can't take Justin Fields over. Minnesota now should win with Fields, but I can't trust Kirk Cousins. He's like Stafford. Too many interceptions, too many turnovers. You blitz, the guy wilts. So it's very hard to trust Russell, to trust Kirk Cousins here. I know trust Fields, and I know Dalton's out. So this almost is an under. They both have such bad defenses, though. But with Fields, it's I don't see the Bears scoring a lot unless they have that little flanker run reverses all game because nobody could tackle him last week. So I don't know. This is a hard one. I almost Fields will probably run 30 times. He'll probably bring in the Ohio State playbook. I don't know. I can't trust either quarterback. This is a game at 2. This is a game you look at. Everybody healthy. I like the Bears in 10, 11 points because I'm betting against Cousins. But with Fields and the COVID issues, Khalil Mack's out. I can't, probably 44. I probably go over 38. But how do I go over with Fields? That's the problem. That's where you really run into problems. So how do you play COVID? You determined by who's got the COVID. Baker Mayfield, I got to play under because it's not. There's a term in economics called divisional labor. What does that mean? We all have different skill sets. Nobody else can do my show with my skill set. You can replace me, but with a lesser skill set. I'm not a doctor. I can't treat, a cold. I don't know what to do. So you can't just say, so we all have different divisions of labor. We all have different skill sets and different ranges of our skill set. I'm a sharp here, but I'm not a sharp in the medical field. Oakland, Cleveland, you can't replace Mayfield and give the bullshit of next man up. That just doesn't work. It's a big drop off from Mayfield to the next quarterback. And then the next quarterback has also got COVID. Now you're at the third string quarterback who hasn't practiced with the team, hasn't played. There's a huge drop off. So you can't say next man up. You can say it for the right guard. You can maybe say it for the linebacker and maybe some safeties or linemen. You cannot say it for Ezekiel Elliott. You can't say it for Barry Sanders or Jerry Rice, and you certainly can't say it for Joe Montana. You can't say it here for Mayfield. So keep that in mind when you lose critical players. It is not next man up. There's no such thing at certain positions. So that's what we're looking at here. So keep an eye on the COVID, who's out. Just because COVID hits. Now, Washington lost 2 quarterbacks, so it's either take Philly or go under. I'm not sure how strong. Philly's an even team with a good defense. Washington won't score a lot. Philly doesn't, so that's probably an under because you've lost, forget the COVID. I don't know if they're out because of COVID or they're just out because of the injuries, but Washington's top two. So it's like Cleveland. If you lose quarterbacks, it's an automatic an under game because how are you going to get points? If the quarterback can't complete the passes down 20 yards, the defense just comes up closer to the line of scrimmage. You're going to throw these little swing passes that the defense will be around. What's the quarterback going to do? He can't throw the ball 30 yards down the field on a post pattern or a fade. He doesn't know how to do that. He knows how to do it, but not with this team, not this playbook. He has no timing with the receivers. He can't just come in and do it. If Joe Montana played for Cleveland and he was in his heyday at the 49ers, this was 1983, and Joe Montana went to play for Cleveland, he would not have timing with the receivers. He couldn't do it. He would definitely help, but he wouldn't light it up for 40 points. Kurt Warner could not light it up for 40 points. Marino, Duper and Clayton, you have to have that chemistry with the players and know their timing, and that takes look at Brady last year. It took him 5-6 games to get the timing with these guys. So when you do switch teams like that, it takes you a while to get the timing. A third stringer, doesn't have the skill set or he'd be starting and doesn't have the timing. So no Mayfield under. You got no Washington quarterback under because they're not going to score. And then in the NFL, they get up 17-0. What are they doing? They're just going to run the ball and punt and not take chances. And the only way it really goes over is if Washington's quarterback throws 5 pick sixes, which you don't think that'll happen. They shouldn't do that, but there will be turnovers in the game. So that's how you play COVID. In the Rams-Seattle game, we go over because the COVID's on the defensive end. And as far as I know, Russell Wilson, now I think Lockett's out, but Metcalf's playing, and they'll replace Lockett, and it's Russell Wilson, and they'll score. And the Rams have Stafford to Cooper Kupp. Why nobody's figuring that out and double-teaming Cooper Kupp is beyond me, but that's obvious. That's all Stafford can do is throw to Cooper Kupp. So again, it should 39 is 21-20, and it's a W. LA and Seattle are both going to be in the upper 20s at least, if not higher. So that's where I'm at with that. So again, I do have a lock in pros. I did find 2 10s, and I'm playing that. I'm playing them in 2 teasers. So, but they're not locks in both teasers. So let's give our lock example in college. So let's say Michigan State was 2-3 over Pitt, and Walker was playing, and Pinkett was playing, and I locked Pitt +9. I said they're not going to get blown out. They got a good quarterback. That I would have a lock with the other team. So let's say in this case Nevada's quarterback plays, and they're getting points. So I'd get Nevada 9 and Pitt 9. That would be a lock. Those are 2 10s, 21-unit lock. Now I'm not done with them. I love them. Now I'm looking for other 9s and 10s to play them with. Here comes Pitt in another teaser, but maybe not a lock. Here comes Nevada in another teaser, maybe not a lock. Maybe they're both 11 or 15 units. But because I found 10s or 9, strong 9s, I want to play them more than once. Because you win in a teaser when you play the team, you play the Pitt or the Nevada in multiple teams, because I don't have to go 4-0. So you play a teaser. It's a 2-team teaser. Now you could play 5, 6-team teasers, but let's go to the 2-team teaser. So if I play one, I got to play another 2-team teasers, 4 teams. I got to go 4-0 to win. Otherwise 3-1 and I break even. A, that's why I vary my bets. But B, if I got a Pitt, now I got Pitt in here and Pitt in here. Now I only got 3 teams. It's a hell of a lot easier going 3-0 than going 4-0. This is simple statistics. So that's why I play the lock here. But then, wait a minute, I still love this team. I'm going to play them here. Now if I go 3-0 and I'm playing 9s and 10s, then I win both teasers. And that's what I do a lot of the times. So that's why I say, when you buy the locks, you're getting the 10s, but you're also missing the 10 again with the 9. And you've got to be able to see the nines. And that's why I put them in multiple teasers, because I just want to, if I can go 3-0 instead of 4-0. Now, here where I've got so many locks, this is where you play the 6, the 7-team teaser. Between the college locks, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, that I have, that I'm hoping everybody sits out for the pros or COVID. If everything remains the same, there's 6 locks, and I'm going to have some pro locks or I'm going to have some strong pro games. Next week, I'm sure it'll fall out. Like there's always a few, Tampa, New England, Buffalo, Green Bay. There's always somebody you can play with the lock. Then I attack with an 8-team, 9-team, 10-team teaser. This is when I hit it. When Auburn played Florida State played Auburn and won the title, I don't know, 4 or 5 years ago now. That's when I hit my 11-team teaser, because I had 6 locks and then I had 3 locks in the bowl. So I combined them. It was teams needing it for the 1 seed. So back then, Peyton Manning and Brady needed to win for the 1 seed. They were laying like 10. I laid 4. And there was teams that needed to win to get into the playoffs, but I trusted them. So there was 7 or 8 pro teams and 3 college teams that I loved. UCLA over Virginia Tech, it was Michigan State over Stanford, and it was Florida State laying 1 to Auburn. And I didn't know how good Auburn was, but I knew Florida State would win the game, and I only had to lay 1. So it was sort of like the Ohio State-Michigan game. I only had to lay 1, and I know Ohio State's the better team. Didn't happen there, but it did happen whenever that game was. And that's when you play. So I had 3-team teasers all over the board. I had 16 teasers. I had a 7-team. I had a 10-team. I had an 11-team. I had a 14-team teaser, was the most you could play, and I lost 1 game. And it was the only loser I had all weekend. I hit every pro game. It was another one of these 13-0 win. The loser I didn't play. It was just I needed another team to max out the pick, and that's what I did. And that was the only loser, but I didn't really bet it anywhere. It was just like, oh, okay, I'll take them. It was like a 5. I added a 5 to it, which I shouldn't have done. But that's when you attack. So this is when I'm going to bet a big 7, 8, probably 10-team teaser with all these locks I have coming up. Most of them are, New Year's Eve, New Year's Day. I got one on the 28th. And then I lost Pitt and I lost Nevada. So that's what you do. Now, I want to play them now, but I got to be careful. They don't all start, I got to get ready for the pros, which really pisses me off. So I got to be careful with that. But I think I'm okay. I think they would have declared by now, but I'll give them a few more days. Just love these locks. I mean, these locks are just, I'm looking at the point spread and I'm going, you've got to be kidding me. You really got to be kidding me in some of these. Now, like Michigan State favored over Pitt. They might have known Pickett and Walk, it's neutral, but I can't lose a quarterback to a running back. It's like losing a queen to a rook. Walker is a rook, but Pickett is a queen if we're playing chess. And I can't trade a rook for a queen and think it's even. So I can't play Pitt in 8 unless I do some finding that their backup quarterback is Dan Marino. He came back for his senior year or something. That's what I have to see, and that's the problem. Now the backup knows he's playing, so he's practicing as the starter. How good is he? And I remember Pinkett in his first year, he sucked. It was like he was a superstar, but he came in as a freshman and he was terrible. This is the first year he's actually done good, and I'm shocked he's sitting out the bowl game. He has a chance to shine and be the number 1 pick in the draft, and not doing. I don't see how this benefits him at all. It hurts him because it looks like he's scared to get hurt. So I don't want him on I would never draft Pickett. I would draft a kid from Coastal Carolina before I draft Pickett, because Pickett is scared to get hurt. That's what this is football. You're going to get hurt. You can get hurt in the preseason drills running a 40. So, go lay in bed and just sit in a hot tub the rest of your life because you're afraid. I mean, then don't play football. Go play tennis or golf if you're afraid. And they get hurt in those sports too. So we'll keep our eye on who. So we know two guys from Notre Dame, the Pitt, Michigan State guy, one of each. There's an Arkansas guy. There's an Oregon guy. Good defensive player on Oregon, which could help Oklahoma because they, with the defensive end, two wide receivers from SMU, which I have no idea, which really fucks that bet because that was a good over Virginia SMU. Now I got two wide receivers out, but SMU's loaded, so I might still be an overplay. I got to check their backups. And we'll see what else, but that's what you have. That's how we play COVID, and that's how we do it. So I hope that helps. Again, increase your bankroll, play your locks in multiple teasers because you want to go 3-0, not 4-0. And you want to, when you get a bunch of them like we got here, you want to play a 7. This is when you want to play a 17 teaser. You got 7 good plays. Play a 17 teaser. You put $50 on it. You get 10-1 odds. There you go. I mean, you can put more, but realistically, to hit 17s is going to be difficult. But this is when you do it, when there's just loaded with lock after lock after lock coming New Year's Day. And I have been so freaking hot on college. It's just been unbelievable. The college, I mean, there's I lost Ohio State, Michigan. I lost Alabama, but all the others came in really good. So I've been very, very hot on college. It just I see it and it's happening and it makes sense. Sometimes you get, Pitt, Michigan State games where you see some weeks you get UCF, Florida, and they're 2s and there's nothing you can do. You can't figure it out. But this year it's been Georgia under. I've figured it out. It's been Miami, Florida over as soon as they change quarterbacks, and boom. And then Vegas hasn't adjusted the line. Every Georgia game, I'm under 60. They don't even get to the 40s. And every Miami game is 55. I go high 40s, and they're scoring 65-point games. So it's just been beautiful, and Vegas hasn't caught on. So that's how we go. So anyway, again, the bowl special, $100. You get all the bowl games. We got Western Kentucky today. Just I already gave that, but but if you want, get the bowl package. I got 4 games today. And then tomorrow, and then coming up. So it's not as strong this week. Too many MAC teams, but then we get stronger once the 28th hits. Then the fun begins with all the locks. So for $100, you get everything. $200, you get all the games, pro and college. So if you want it, now's a good time to get it. We still have plenty of weeks in the pros. What are we on? Week 15. So you go week 15, 16, 17, and all the playoffs and through the Super Bowl, plus all the college. So for $200, you get all that. Like I said, at least 6 locks unless the more players sit out for the pros. And then in the pros, I got 2 locks going this week. And then I'm sure I'll find locks as we go. As the number 1 seeds, Tampa needs the game. Green Bay needs the game. Kansas City and New England need the game. Buffalo is dire straits. Baltimore, if they lose, is going to be really up Schitt's Creek. So that makes the betting easier. Look at San Diego. Okay, they're very live dog. Hi, Ken. Good morning. Western Kentucky and App State might hit 100 points there. Well, I don't know. I took Western Kentucky in the 9. If you're watching the game, I'm not, but I will turn it on. But the reason I didn't go over was App State has a pretty good defense. But Western Kentucky's defense is pretty weak. They're an over team, but because App State's an A team with a pretty good defense, I didn't take it over, but I did take Western Kentucky in 9. I feel that they're going to score early and often in this game, and I don't know if I'm going to get to 60, but I feel with 9 I'll get there. So, but it wouldn't surprise me. Western Kentucky played an 80 with Army, so where did that? I think it was 39-33 with Army, 70. What's that? 72 in an Army game. 31-24 at the half. I was very good. All right. I got Western Kentucky in 9. Wonderful. Yeah, then it should be 100 points. I'm happy. Well, I love Western Kentucky's quarterback. And funny how he's not sitting out for the pros. I don't think he's draft eligible yet, but he might get hurt in the game. He probably shouldn't be playing. He should be going home and laying in bed, getting ready for the draft in 3 years. I'm so sick of these babies in college. All I remember is Michigan sitting out all their players, but they wait till the last minute. I remember Jabal Peppers. They're going to play Florida, and he waits till like 5 minutes before kickoff to say, I'm not playing. I'm getting ready for the pros. So let's fuck everybody by not giving you any notice. I'm going to tell you this. So that's why I got to be careful. My locks would be posted if I could trust that everybody's playing and not sitting out. Western Kentucky may be playing for the folks affected back home too. I'm sure that happens, but did it not hit North Carolina? That's where App State is. But I think they are, but I think they're just wanting to play and win, and I just love their style and their quarterback Zapke. So I think it didn't really matter if there was a tornado or not; they'd still be playing. But I think you're right, and so I think where's Kentucky at? Kentucky's playing Iowa as a 3-point favorite, but Iowa always plays for the kids in the hospital, so it'd be a tough one. But so Kentucky's New Year's Day with Iowa. So will Kentucky be playing for them? But I don't know. That game should be a good game. Iowa's tough defense. They're not going to lay down because of the tornado. And it probably hit Iowa too, the tornado parts of it. One game I'm looking at with big interest is Baylor, Mississippi. Is Bohannon playing? I'm seeing he's questionable with the hamstring that kept him out of the other game. Although I like their backup. He was like 17 for 17, so I'm really okay if he doesn't play. Right now, they're a 1-point favorite, over under a 54, but Baylor is a very strong team. I love them a lot if Bohannon is playing. If the backup's playing, I like them a lot. So they probably go from a 9 to a 7 with the backup. Ole Miss, they're an over team, so there'll be plenty of points. But Baylor beating Oklahoma and Oak State, they got screwed out of the playoff. They should be in the playoff. Or did Oak State win the game? Who won that game? Oh, no, Baylor beat Oak State. Yeah, so Baylor got screwed out of the playoff. How does Alabama and Georgia make the playoff? Are you kidding me? This is a problem. Georgia lays down, so Alabama gets in the playoffs and screws Baylor over. I think both Notre Dame, Baylor, Oak State should be in the playoff. Probably Ohio State should be there. And, who won that? Pitt should be there, beating Wake Forest, beating Clemson. I think Pitt beat Clemson. So they're not getting the dessert. I mean, what the hell do you play for? You win your conference, you should be in a playoff. It's not that hard. Look at Tennessee. They're going to have 8 losses, and they're going to make the NFL playoffs. How can that happen? Anyway, so I'm glad that Western Kentucky's up. Like I said, I'm getting 9. So I gave that at the beginning of the show. And again, tonight I got Oregon State over. So just in case anybody missed the Western Kentucky, I apologize. Oregon State, Utah State over 61 is a good play tonight. Anyway, let me know. Any other questions? How to deal with COVID? Depends who's hurt. It's like any other injury. My customers will go, well, these 5 players are out, and I'll go, is Tom Brady out? No. Then we don't care that some of the Tampa players are out as long as Tom Brady's playing. Or Green Bay, some of the players are out. Is Aaron Rodgers out? If Aaron Rodgers plays, I don't care because most of the backups are okay on the line, backup receivers, backup secondary help. They're fine. They're all pros. But there's a big difference between Aaron Rodgers and Josh Love or Jordan Love, whatever. I'd rather have seen Josh Love, the kid from San Jose State, was much better than Jordan Love. And I think they got the wrong Love. But there's a huge drop. You can't say Jordan Love's going to walk in and be Aaron Rodgers. Jordan Love is not an NFL quarterback. He should never have been drafted in the first round. He should never have been drafted. He is not a good quarterback. They will not win with him. He should not be on the team. And that blows my mind. So now Green Bay won't pick another. Here comes this kid from Western Kentucky who's 10 times better than Jordan Love, but they won't draft him because they got Jordan Love. This is the problem with the pros. The Giants starting Daniel Jones instead of looking at the Western Kentucky or the Coastal Carolina quarterback because we got Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones stinks. He wants to run more than he passes. I guess that's what they teach him in the Peyton Manning camp. Josh Allen and Daniel Jones both went there, and they run the balls all this time. Stop running the ball. You're a quarterback. Quarterback passes to the receivers. He doesn't run. That's why you have running backs, and that's why you have receivers. So the quarterback running is a trap that doesn't work. The defense loves it because you're not giving it to the superstar running back, or you're not throwing it to Stephon Diggs and the other receivers. You're running the ball. Be my guest. Because I can't cover Stephon Diggs and I can't cover your running back and I can't defend him. And it hurts tackling him. It doesn't hurt tackling because you slide and run out of bounds. They haven't figured it out. This is why no running quarterbacks ever won in the NFL in 100 years. The closest was Steve Young. He won when he stopped running. So in his first couple of years at the Niners, when Montana retired, they didn't do anything. But then when he was a pocket passer when they beat Denver and he finally won the Super Bowl. But running, you don't win. It can't happen. And, that's why Joe Montana, look at the greatest quarterbacks. John Unitas ran very little. Montana, he would run in a critical time, or Brady. They're not running quarterbacks. Guess what? They win all the Super Bowls. That's why Bradshaw ran early in his career. They didn't do shit. As soon as he just pocket passed, threw the ball to Swan and Stallworth, hey, they won 4 Super Bowls throwing the ball. So that's the point. That's why running quarterbacks don't work. This Western Kentucky quarterback, yeah, he throws for 500 yards a game. He's the best quarterback out there. But he plays up 38 now after another. Beautiful. Yeah, this guy is a great quarterback, Zappy. I'll give you his numbers, okay? How many touchdowns has he thrown today? Like 4 or 5? Here's Zapke. Let me get into my file, which is beautiful. It came up. So Western Kentucky. Okay, they get 43 points a game. Bailey Zapke throws for 423 yards a game. But let's get into the juicy details. So when I get into the juicy details, touchdowns and interceptions, this could take a minute. But they score 43 a game. There's not great teams there, but he doesn't always play against the great teams. Well, let me get into this. But see, this is what I do is I'm understanding the quarterbacks, right? Oh, come on. See, that's the key is the quarterback. That's why I can't bet Pitt with Pickett. I got to look at his backup. If I can find a backup that's played it all, I'll check that if I can get into my quarterback page. Oh, my God. Sorry for this delay. You know what? I'll do it this way. All right, Zapke's got 56 touchdowns and 11 interceptions. This is his first year. He is oh no, he was a senior. He's from Texas. What is he? Year wise, I don't know. Why doesn't it say that? I think this is his first year in Western Kentucky. 56 touchdowns and see, this is my point. This is why you bet the game over. This is why he's a good dog. 56 touchdowns, and nobody's close. And this guy's the best quarterback, or the Fresno quarterback's good, the Nevada quarterback's good. But because they don't play at Ohio State or Alabama, they're not even mentioned in the Heisman voting or in the top draft picks. This is a joke. I mean, you take a guy on talent. He's the best player. So anyway, I apologize for the delay. Sometimes when I switch tabs, it's slow, especially when I go into it's not Excel. I have Google Chrome, which I would highly recommend nobody ever getting Google laptops or Chrome. It's a piece of crap. Stick with Microsoft. At least Excel we know is good and it's quick. But anyway, Western Kentucky, there you go. So it's already a 62. They've already went over in the third quarter. That's why I'm saying if he's hurt and they bring in a new quarterback, he's not Zapke. Zapke knows how. He throws 56 touchdown passes. He knows what he's doing. You cannot do that with you can't just do that and bring in a backup and think the backup is going to be as good. You can't do it. So therefore, that's my point with Mayfield. Mayfield goes now. Zapke maybe could back up Mayfield and be better. It looks like he is better. And again, I think he's just a freshman. So, the guy's incredible, but the coach gives him the right offense, and they don't 500 yards a game, 430 throwing and 100 yards running. And it's just to keep the defense honest or when they got a big lead. Any other questions, comments, please feel free. www.teaserking.com. My email is there. Again, it's $100 for all the bowls through the playoffs, all the locks, everything, all the good plays. $200 if you want to add the pros. You'll have all the picks through the end of all the locks, all the pros, everything. So that's another special. The 200, the 100. Just go to the college, go down to the bottom. It says bowls, $100. Click it. And you'll get the password, you get all the plays. And again, today, if you want to do it now, you'll get Oregon State and Lou Lafayette, Oregon State over and Lou Lafayette are the evening plays on the site. And then we've got there is a pro game tonight. So let me quickly talk that New England Indy's lane 2.5. 3, New England's the better team. They're the A team. They'll stop Taylor over under 45.5. Trends on both teams, both strong defenses. This case, Indy needs the game more because they need the playoffs. New England is on a roll, needs it for the 1 seed. So they don't need it as bad, but they're playing well. I don't see New England laying down. It's not like, they don't have the 1 seed. So they're going to be playing. So tease the dog in this game. Take New England in the 9, 8.5. That's the play. Again, I have 2 locks in the pros going tomorrow. All right, everybody. Watch the COVID and pros. Watch the college. Who sits out because they're afraid of getting hurt, crap, and go from there. Okay, anything else, please hit me now. Otherwise, good luck. Have a great weekend. Any questions, go to the site, www.teaserking.com. You can email me and ask me what you want. I'll be on before, so happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year to everybody, and we'll go from there. So good luck, and I hope you guys make some good money, stay healthy, and enjoy your holidays. Okay, everybody. Professor, class is dismissed. Your assignment, come up with another lock. Since we lost Pitt, Michigan State, since we can't lock Pitt, your assignment, come up with I want to score. Give me the score of the Georgia-Michigan game. That's your homework assignment. Okay, thanks very much.